Evening, everybody. Welcome to Free Write Fridays, episode 2. Tonight's story comes to us from a suggestion given to me by Miss Megan Shevlin, my amazing Canyon View High School co-worker, fellow English teacher, even better person. It's Chip, who is in love with the star at the top of the Christmas tree, and the genre is romance. Now, I didn't know that this story would be as fun as it was to write, but I imagine that it's going to be just as fun to tell you. So without saying too much more, I'm going to get straight to it. Hope you enjoy. I jolted awake from the cold air that even through the walls around me reached me from the outside. The faint melody on the outside was enough to bring a smile to my heart, and the frigid time of year warmed me more than any of the others could ever know. The walls began to move, and on the inside all of us shook gently like a tree in the breeze, anticipation of our emergence on the rise like a child before Christmas. That feeling, the euphoria that comes with the season's overwhelming gentleness, warmth, and light was what we lived for, as were the smiles of those that marveled at our meager standing. The walls stopped, as did our movement, then lowered. The moment was finally here. And when the ceiling split open, we were blinded by a light more glorious than any that already wrapped the tree. She, as was the case every year, sat upon her evergreen throne and looked low at the land beyond her, with the rest of us in awe of her golden luminescence. Year after year, I wanted nothing more than to be near her, but the placement was random, and after last year, I don't know if it would be wise to place me there. One by one, my brothers and sisters were lifted from their rooms and placed amid the branches in places I couldn't see. My mind went wild with the possibilities. Where would they be this year? I knew that they were usually placed along the same tier of the tree and me with them, but for the last few years they'd been stuck with the middle or the bottom ring, forced to bathe in the light of her existence without so much as a proper view. I don't even know her name, just that I want to ask her for it myself. After all, we are both stars, though she much more lustrous and captivating than I could ever be. And then again, this chip in my wing, the source of my new name among my family, might prove to be a blemish too bold for even her light to overtake. I was lifted from my room and through the ceiling, and the first thing I did was look for my family. There was a ring of silver, glitter-dusted stars around the bottom of the tree, but in the middle, the only other usual spot for us, there were candy canes. I looked up at the bronze ring of family that now basked in the afterglow of her glory and reflected the golden light into a fiery burst upon the roof above. "I think I'll put you here," said the decorator with a proud smile and a sparkle in her eyes. She lifted me higher, higher than I've ever been, and she placed me only a centimeter away from the top. Immediately, I couldn't help but think about the chip in my design. As much as I wanted this, as much as I fantasized about this moment from the second I was brought into this world so dominated by the brilliant shimmer of her heavenly body, I was so scared that all she would be able to see of me is my greatest imperfection. Then she spoke to me. "Hey," she said, and I couldn't help but sit stunned amid the gold-bathed branches as her brilliance washed over me. "I'm glad I finally got to talk to you, Chip. You know my name?" The question left me before I realized, but the shock stayed. I didn't even care that my name was a shot at my insecurity, because from her it sounded sweet and thoughtful. "Oh, I'm sorry," she exclaimed with a bashfulness that contrasted the intensity of her radiance. "I don't think we've ever met. I'm Cedra. Anyway, I saw what happened last year when the kids knocked you off your branch. My heart sank. All this time I thought she would notice, and here I was confronted with the reality that she'd seen my break from the moment I fell. I grew very cold, very quiet, and averted my attention. Oh, I all but whispered. I guess it would be hard to forget something so embarrassing. I heard a murmur of incredulous disagreement, a sound so infinitesimal, so fleeting that the average ornament wouldn't have heard it. But I looked back at her out of a strange sense of renewed optimism. You fell, yes, she started with a warmth to her voice that matched her splendor, but you didn't break. I don't know if I would have been able to survive that with only a chip to show for it. Really? I didn't care to hide my surprise. It was the first time anyone had said anything positive about it. Really, she affirmed. Cedra waited a moment, then spoke again. If you don't mind me saying, I'm really glad you're still here. I thought to respond, but couldn't find the words. It was then that the decorator paused, her eyes firmly fixed upon the two of us, and folded her arms. Huh, she said, captivated by how Cedra's powerful rays eclipsed the fracture of my arm. I think I like you two there. My heart smiled, and suddenly I knew what to say. Yeah, me too. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the story. Again, if this has inspired you to want something else, please comment on the next post for Free Write Fridays that's going to come Monday. If it's inspired you to pick up something else that I've written already because you just can't wait for the next short story to come out, then by all means, look up my book, Ignition 2084. It's available on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. It's on Kindle. It's on Nook. Anything that you could possibly read a book on, it is there. Until next time, I'm out.